Uh, a very good afternoon to all who have joined us in this webinar. Nitin Lahoti, Manager Innovation Management, NIAM Agri Business Incubator, welcomes you all on the behalf of Chaudhary Charan Singh National Institute of Agricultural Marketing and Center for Innovation, Entrepreneurship and Skill Development. Before I proceed further, I would like to request all of you to please keep yourself on mute unless you want to talk. And since we have kept separate timing for question and answers, and request you to let the speaker present first and finish his presentation. We'll take question and answer separately. Uh, you can write your questions in the chat box, and we will take it up with the speaker later. Participants are also requested to provide their details, including name, email, phone, organization, designation, as per the format provided in the chat box by us. Um, Providing self-introduction is a necessary step so we can further communicate with you and start to circulate your participation certificate. Now, I would like to request Director Niam and Chairperson. Now, I would like to request Director Niam and Ramesh Mitra sir to give opening remarks and tell us more about the webinar. Sir, over to you.
To all, I would like to give brief introduction of Major BP Sharma, who is today's speaker of this webinar. As you are aware, Chaudhary Charan Singh National Institute of Agriculture Marketing is 31-year-old organization with the mandate of training, research, consultancy, education. This organization has a long history and it's one of its kind of institute in the agriculture marketing, not only in India, even in Southeast Asia. As per mandate, we have different kind of activities. To implement such activities, we have 10 centers which are working in the organization. One center is known as a Center for Innovation, Entrepreneurship and Skill Development. This center is organizing the first webinar program that is titled the Family Farmer Concept, which is developed and nurtured by Major BP Sharma. As you are aware, this institute has this center, and under this center, we have one incubation center also. That is known as a NABI, which is NIAM Agribusiness Incubation Center. So NABI is working under this center, and this center objective of this center to promote innovation, entrepreneurship, and skill development related activities that could be training, research, consultancy, or short-term educational courses also. So in this series, this is the first webinar that we are launching, and I appreciate Major BP Sharma, who has accepted our invitation and graced the occasion as a speaker. Let me give you a small introduction of Major VP Sharma. VP Sharma is a technological professional turned as a social entrepreneur with over 32 years of global experience in telecommunication and networking domain. He is a very good speaker, very good orator, and alumnus of National Defense Academy, Khadakwasla, Pune. He served in Indian Army Crops and Signals for 16 years, 85 to 2001. During his career in Army, he has served in many operational assignments and military technology projects in India and internationally. He transited to corporate world in 2001. From 2001 to 2010, he worked in telecom for Airtel, Ericsson, Nokia, Siemens Network in senior position from 11 to 17. He was technology director with Cisco System, where he set up and managed global technology support organization and Cisco Reliance Geo network operation. In 2017, he left his corporate career and began working on the mission of developing rural entrepreneurs from among retired soldiers. He co-founded Gratitude Farms Private Limited, an agri-tech company that specializes on organic farming and aquaponics. If you want more information, then you can visit www.gratitudefarms.co.in. The focus is on developing retired soldiers and rural youth in the field with limitless potential for the country like India. Organic farming, particularly when it is practiced
Sir,
with a synthesis of best traditional knowledge and latest agriculture technologies, offers tremendous potential for livelihood and self-employment with good income. He has also co-founded Gramonnati Trust, which aims to support and rural transformation through technology and entrepreneurship.
छोटा चिंगा आज वो
He
किया था
lives in Pondicherry. He is an alumnus of IIT Kanpur, MTech, EE, and Military College of Telecom Engineering, BE and C. I welcome Major VP Sharma, who has accepted our invitation and became this keynote speaker of this today's topic, that is family farmer concept. And this concept, I'm 100% sure you people are going to like this concept. I'll not take much time and I will request
मॉस्क
Major
करना
VP Sharma to take
यहाँ
over the
पर घर में
mic
ना
and dais and take over the control
बड़ा
and
चक्कर
give
काफी
presentation on the concept, please. Thank you.
बड़ा हो गया
Thank you so much, Mittal sir. I am actually privileged to be speaking in this webinar today. Thank you so much to everyone in Niam to give me an opportunity to be part of this. And before I start, I would like to tell all the audience that I am one of the beneficiaries of the expertise of National Institute of Agri Marketing through the incubation support that my company has received. And I continue to learn every single day through the expertise. So without any further uh, time, let me just get on to the topic itself. The topic is the family farmer concept and agri-entrepreneurship model for organic farming. Now, Mittal sir has already given a very detailed introduction, but I would just like to mention a couple of things. Our agri-tech startup, it combines traditional knowledge of organic farming with latest technology and operational processes. We have had the good fortune of having worked in army as well as in technology sector. There are best practices in each of these organizations, and there is a strong case to bring out those best practices and link it to the traditional organic farming knowledge and bring out some viable models that can then be replicated across the country. As Mittal sir mentioned, our goal is to help ex-soldiers and also rural youth and women as organic farming entrepreneurs. Now, first of all, before I get into the model that I'm going to be talking about, let me spend a few minutes on why organic farming. I think in an implicit way, most of the people, they realize it. There is a rising awareness of the ill effects of laden food, the chemicals and the fertilizers that are being pumped into our soil and what damaging effect it is doing. But here are a few pointers. In many ways, India's agrarian crisis and crippling debts of farmers are directly related to chemicals. The chemical fertilizers and the usage is constantly reducing the carbon content of the soil As per one of the studies of Down to Earth, it is already down to 0.3% in last one decade itself. This directly impacts the productivity and hence starts a vicious cycle of using more and more fertilizers and chemical nutrients. I don't know if you are aware, many farmers these days set aside small patches of land to grow cleaner food for themselves and their families, refusing to eat what they grow for the market. That's a level of usage of chemicals which is happening. There are so many reports and studies that will tell you that even birds, bees, and insects don't come to the field because there is too much pesticide. Now, that said, we all know it. This problem also presents a beautiful opportunity for organic farming. You see, this country was organic probably 70, 80 years back. What has happened in these last 60, 70 years is that we have tilted from one end to the other of the spectrum too much. And I think necessity will drive us to draw a balance. It is nobody's case to say that whole country can turn organic in next one decade. No. But there is already a huge movement at grassroots level, although not in a concerted way, but in a fractured way. But a huge movement is already going on for bringing back organic farming. There are a lot of myths and ignorance among the farmers about the viability, about the profitability. But all these problems are there in any system that tries to make its headway. There is a great opportunity for organic farming also because the people in the consumers are now becoming more conscious. And particularly what has happened, what you are all going through right now in the phase of lockdown and the coronavirus, etc., the awareness levels, people are being forced to think how they have been living their lives, what is right, what is not. Is our budget for food adequate? What are we doing to our health? All these questions are emerging, and it is not a deep question. But above and away from all this, as far as we are concerned, there is one, what we could call a superordinate goal for us. Every acre of land that we can convert or help convert to organic or natural farming is a service to Mother Earth. We have taken away 1 acre of that land away from chemical farming. Now, with this as the backdrop for organic farming, let me now come to the crux of what I'm going to be speaking about. You see, it's all about connecting the dots. At one end, we have a small and a marginal farmer. I think many of you would know that over 80% of the farmers in the country would be classified as small and marginal farmers. Their capacity to leverage their produce is very low. Government is coming out with very good policies. Implementation is at varying degrees of successes, but there is a very strong case that we have to help small and marginal farmers. And that is where we have addressed this particular need. At one end, you have a small and marginal farmer whose real problem is outside the farm. He may be a very good farmer. He can produce very good organic vegetables, fruits, but where does he sell? A good farmer is usually not a good seller. And that's where he becomes vulnerable to the traders and all the forces that are at work. And you have at the other end, urban consumers who I think many of you would agree, we have a family doctor, we have a family lawyer, maybe some of us have family wealth advisors, but do we know who is our family farmer? Do we know where our vegetables and fruits are coming from? You are very particular about where your investments are going, which mutual fund you are investing in, because you pay value to that. You are very particular about which doctor your child will be treated by, because you pay attention to the trust element. But what about our daily food on the table? We trust as if everything is going to be normal. It is not. It's high time we talked about bringing the same level of trust that we bring for other aspects of our life to our food also. And it is very simple actually. If we can connect the two ends, the farmer who is growing very good vegetables, and in my case, I specifically refer to organic and natural farming only, he is growing very good vegetables and the consumer, he needs them. We can build a bridge, and that's where the agri-entrepreneurship opportunity lies. And I'll explain that. Whatever I'm going to talk about in next 20-30 minutes is straight out of our practical experience. The model that we are trying to create may not be very mature, but the fundamental shoots are quite evident. This kind of work is also being done by many, many entrepreneurs like us across the country in different forms. Before I get into that, let me just set the context of what we are trying to do. We picked up two social problems as our basis. Number one, livelihood challenges of ex-servicemen. Those of you who are probably not aware, every year 60,000 soldiers retire from Indian Army. Most of them are in the age group of 40 to 45. That's no age to retire. Settling down in life after army 20, 25 years is a very big challenge for them. Unlike the up to last generation, where there used to be a very strong joint family system to take care of most of the soldiers coming from rural background, that is increasingly not the case. So, in need of economic, you can say, sustainability, there is a very little knowledge that he has for other things. There is a general despondency towards agriculture. The land holding is very small. These people are nudged into cities to become security guards. And believe me, that's a travesty. A soldier with 20 years of experience is a natural grassroots leader. He wants to settle down in the village. If only he could find an economically viable option. And that's what we are trying to do through getting him a viable, profitable organic farming model in his small farm. The second problem, which is very tightly linked to this, is low profitability of small and marginal farmers in organic farming. What are we trying to do? This is where the family farmers concept starts playing up. We are working across the entire value chain of organic farming. I'll explain that in my next slide. At the production level, we have been learning. We are not from a farming background, but we have spent 3 years fully immersed in organic farming, and we have been getting mentored and educated by some of the most, you can say, knowledgeable organic farmers in the country. And it is not difficult at all. When you set your goal into this, organic farming is very scientific, very methodical, and it requires a discipline of operation, and nature after that never fails you. So we have developed a food forest model, which is essentially a multi-cropping model in which we grow 15 to 20 types of local vegetables, fruits, and greens. We have a planting schedule, a staggered production around the year, so that something or the other gets harvested every single week, so that the economic viability keeps on happening. And it is very much possible. It's a combination of greens, tubers, plants, and fruits. We are aiming for 15 tons or more per year per acre, which is not small at all. And if we can sell it at good price, it can give a very good value to the farmer. Now, production being where it is, today in the market, you will find two types of businesses happening. Either there are producers, the farmers, small and big, or there are aggregators like Big Basket, Grofers, Reliance Fresh, and many other small and big. What we are trying to do is that we should not be aggregators. We should work across the chain. Accordingly, we have built a supply chain. We aim to provide our fresh vegetables and greens and fruits within 8 hours from harvest to home, which limits, as of now, our capability to 100 kilometers of Chennai and Pondicherry, which are the two big markets where we are operating. At a later date, with some more technological interventions, cold storages, etc., we hope that we will be able to expand that. As of now, this is what. And last but not the least is the sales. We have consciously chosen direct to home sales. We do not sell to any vegetable shops. We do not have any shops for that matter. We have just got a website and a WhatsApp, and we use the tagline, "We are your family farmers." We always try to bring organic vegetables at a very affordable price. That is very much feasible. A balance between a good price for the farmer and not too costly for the consumer. It is very much possible. Of course, the operations have to be very efficient and the cost optimization has to be done. But as we can say, just one second. As we can see, that affordable prices are very much possible for end consumers if we have a control from production, processing, value addition, and sale. Let me get into a little bit more detail into this particular model now. So this slide. In one slide, it explains the entire spectrum of activity that we are doing. And I'll spend a little time on this. There are 4 stages that we can see: pre-production, production, post-production, and sales. In pre-production, we mobilize the ESM. ESM are ex-servicemen, the soldiers. They can be of 2 types. One, soldiers who have their own small or big farm, they come to us, or soldiers who just want to learn and work with us. Even that is fine with us. We lease land and put these soldiers who are trained as farm managers. We have to train them in organic farming. We have got our own training module. Alongside, we also get into farm development contracts with people who may be having land available and who want to convert it into organic farms. So we get into that at this stage. At the production, in the first model, we have the soldiers who are the farmers who go back after learning. We supply them with the seeds, the saplings, the nutrients, and we monitor every day's activity so that what is finally produced is of the quality that we are looking for. And if it is of that particular quality, we buy it from the farm gate. The second model is there are farmlands which are leased by us, and the soldiers are the farm managers. The activity is same. Now, once the vegetables, and like I mentioned, there are 15 to 20 different varieties of vegetables as per the local agroclimatic conditions we grow, we harvest, and the harvest is purchased from the farm gates directly. Goes to the sorting and grading center. By the time this happens, this all happens between late evening and early morning. And by the time the website and the app has already started collecting orders for the next day, whatever is the best grade 1 is packed and sent out in the direct to home model. We also have some outlets being worked out for Samriddhi Naturals. We are working very closely with Mission Samriddhi, and some restaurants and institutions in Pondicherry and Chennai take our fresh produce. Right now that is stopped because the restaurant business is completely down. And we had put a question mark about B2B aggregators. We have not yet started. But our preference is direct to home delivery, which is where 90% of our produce goes. Now, invariably, do what you feel like, 20 to 30% of the produce remains unsold. This is where we came across the idea of putting them through solar dryers. Solar drying can be done for pretty much every vegetable, fruit, and green. And if done properly, it can reduce the waste enormously. And what it does is that at the end of the day, if you have 10 kgs of, say, tomato for sun drying, reduce to 1 kg of sun-dried tomato. Perishability is gone. Its life is six months, and the value is almost 2.5 times. That also becomes a livelihood opportunity. And some of the product which we put through our kitchen, we produce a lot of salads, juices, etc., etc. So this is what is happening at the post-production. For sales, we are right now in Chennai and Pondicherry. And as I mentioned, all our farms are within 100 kilometers of that. Once we perfect this model for operations, we will take it to other cities in the coming months and years. And for the sales, as I've already mentioned, app-based, website-based, direct-to-home delivery is 90%, and some of it is to B2B, Samriddhi Naturals and restaurants, etc. Underpinning all this is a lot of technology. We are using Cropin as the farm ERP software. We are not as yet very strong in it, but Cropin solves a very big problem of yield predictability, which is a real issue. And we can also do a lot of operational monitoring through Cropin, which is still being put in place. We have the idea of putting up an agri-operation center. It is working in a very skeletal form because all our farms are 2-3 acres each. And I can tell you one thing from practical experience. In the same geography, the agroclimatic conditions are same, the soil type is same, the seeds are same, the nutrients are same, yet the yields can differ. What is the difference point? It is the rigor or the commitment or the operational, you can say, discipline of the people working on the farm. A lot of people who have been working in one form or the other with the agri sector will confirm this. one of the biggest problems, and it is a very big dichotomy. You have so many unemployed young people, but you get rarely good quality farm workers. We try our best. It remains a challenge. Having soldiers has really helped us in bringing in an element of discipline, and we are going to be working more and more to find as practical as possible answers for that. Water management remains a very critical part of all this. Every farm, whether or not water is available in abundance or shortage, we implement low cost drip irrigation, rain hose systems, low cost rainwater harvesting, and other water control solutions and fertigation solutions. So this is what in a nutshell is the entire spectrum. I mentioned the ecosystem from pre-production, production, post-production to sales. You are seeing 4 blue circles. These are the places where wealth generation or entrepreneurial activities can take place. And the orange circle that you see are where employment generation can take place. So this is how we are trying to do our bit to bring in not just profitable organic farming, but also as much livelihood as possible. Now, when we talk of such models, it looks very nice on this slide, but believe me, last 3 years for us have been a struggle. Like any entrepreneur in any field will confirm, the going is not easy. It's very difficult to get to a level of success. We have had our share of failures, maybe more, but resilience and just digging the heels when things go wrong, it helps. I can summarize the major challenges that anyone taking up this model can face. The first one, which I've already mentioned briefly, is lack of disciplined operations. It could be labor related, it could be knowledge related. And I'm talking disciplined operations for organic farming. Organic farming requires a rigor beyond what normal agriculture would. Yield predictability remains a very big problem. Now, what you can do for that is on the right side of the screen. For us, ex-soldiers has worked very well. They have a way of finding solutions. And in fact, some of the soldiers who came and joined us, they are not from a farming background. But you give them a checklist and you train them well as to how it has to be done. After that, that man will not disappoint you. He will follow it to the best of his abilities. And gradually he learns the nuances. They are people connected to Mother Earth and they do become good farmers over time. As far as the yield predictability is concerned, it is a very critical aspect, particularly if you are a small farmer, you want to ensure, or you are a small business, you want to ensure that all the produce gets sold properly. You need to have a mapping between demand and supply. Planning tools, even simple Excel templates actually works. There are more complex ones which may be required when the operations go big, but right now, this is working well for us. Wastage of unsold vegetables, almost 30% in first year. Value additions like solar drying, making juices, pickles, anything that the traditional people have always been doing. In our villages, these things have been done as a part of household activity for generations. Allow nothing to go waste. You just have to pick up some of those activities. In fact, some of the, you can say, best pickles and juices that we make have come from the rural women who have been working as laborers in our farm, and they gave this idea and we just scaled it up and they are now selling like hotcakes. Third challenge, which is going to be particular, is supply chain and logistics. We found the answer because finding technological solutions, cold storages is possible, but it requires investment. We have limited ourselves to 100 kilometers from our market, which is Chennai right now. And as the model progresses, this is what we will take up. Freshness of vegetable matters a lot. Now, the last one is a very important one, growth of the business. While we are very small, it works very fine. And for us, the testing time was when we moved from a small city of Pondicherry to Chennai. The demand is huge. Once we use social media marketing very heavily. Our website is pretty decent and efficient. We also used an app and we also use WhatsApp. The demand comes thick and fast. But how do you grow the business? Should I increase the acreage at one place or should I have more number of farms. Now, this is where the balancing act had taken place. I will take a minute to reflect on our understanding of two such models of growth. One could be replicability and scalability, the other is scalability. Let me give you an example straight from my Indian Army experience. Indian Army is a time-tested organization, and decades of war planning has created a very sharp, focused organization which works efficiently at all levels. Suppose we have a battalion. Okay, for those who are not aware, the standard self-sustaining basic organization for war fighting in Indian Army is called a battalion. It is commanded by a colonel. We typically has 15 to 20 officers, 30 JCOs, and about 800 soldiers. This is what one battalion is. Now, this battalion can be tuned for different geographies, for mountains, for deserts, for other type of operations, etc. So, for example, in J&K, a battalion will cover a frontage of 20 kilometers on the J&K border. But your border is about 400 kilometers long. So what do? You will not increase the size of the battalion from 800 men to 8,000 to cover that frontage. What you will do instead is you will get 10 more battalions like that. So what we are saying is that once you attain a level of efficiency, there are trade-offs, there are inherent constraints. You cannot scale blindly in any business or any organization. So where there is a sweet spot, where there is an effectiveness, not too large, not too small, very effective, that is the point where you have to make the organization process-wise, leadership-wise, and from a financial objective-wise, everything. Create an organization, work out the model, work out the nuances, and then go about replicating it. Just as Indian Army found battalion to be a standard organization, and then it replicates it any number of times. And thereafter, of course, there are umbrella organizations on top of battalion. 3 battalions make a brigade, and 3 brigades make a division, etc. But the cohesion of a battalion is not disturbed. This is the way of the nature which needs to be brought in when we develop entrepreneurial businesses like ours. So this, I thought, is a very pertinent point when one gets to the point of growing. Choosing of markets, choosing who will be your customers is also a very important consideration. Like we realized when we went to Chennai, we found that our business grows very fast, and we are talking family farmer, people wanting direct to home delivery for people who are living in the outskirts of the city. The markets are very far off. These are usually IT professionals or technology professionals. Some of the largest apartment blocks in all big cities have come on the outskirts. Usually the good vegetable markets are not there. Going and starting our business there was not only very easy, it also increased very fast. In all this, although I have not mentioned explicitly, quality of service and quality of produce is of paramount importance. Nothing will succeed. People are willing to pay slightly higher value as compared to market, particularly those who are conscious about organic vegetables, provided we can give them the produce which is absolutely top grade. And second aspect is give them when they need. So when in our website or WhatsApp we announce that your delivery will be done by 5 p.m. on so-and-so date, it doesn't matter whether we have this lockdown situation or not. If you have said that it will be delivered, figure out a way to deliver it. Only then the trust with the customer will develop and they'll become your repeat customers. So this is what is about the challenges. So what does the model offer? In brief, for the customers, it offers trust and quality. There is an element of traceability that we have still to work on. Once the lockdown is over, we'll be implementing the very simple technology. What we are intending to do is that we have got about 20 different farms from which we collect different vegetables, fruits, and greens and supply. So every packet can have a QR code. And that the moment you scan the QR code, you will get to know the Google location, Google Maps location of the farm, the mobile number and the name of the farm manager or the farmer, and at what time was it harvested. What this kind of system does, it's a very simple system to do. It gives them the traceability. It gives them the, you can say, the certitude of where their vegetable has come from. We go a step further because most of our farms are within 100 kilometers. We invite our customers to visit our farm whenever they want to. And believe me, once they visit the farm and they see for themselves how their vegetables are being grown, there's no looking back. You have a customer who will always be your own ambassador to grow your business. For the farmers, there's a dignified livelihood through profitable organic farming, livelihood generation through value addition as also working on the farm. There is this concept called locavore. Just as you have herbivore who eats only vegetarian, carnivore who eats only non-vegetarian, locavore is a person who eats only local food. It's not a it's not an informal term. It's now part of Webster dictionary, and there are already many movements in the world that are moving towards this to reduce the food miles. Nature never wanted you to eat a fruit which has been imported from New Zealand with a big label on top of it. The best health is always sustained when we eat local, eat fresh, and eat organic. So we try to promote that. Rapid replicability, I've already mentioned that. As this model matures, we will we still have a lot of work to do to make it mature for one big city and surrounding areas. Then we can take it to other cities. Now, who can venture into this type of agriculture?
बैंक डिटेल्स चाहिए बस.
Please, can you mute who's speaking? Who can venture into this type of agri-entrepreneurship? Actually, pretty much everyone. This is something which you can arrive at these entrepreneurs from different angles. You could be an educated farmer who's looking for a direct market, who does not want to go to the mandis and to the shops and want to go directly to consumer. You have an opportunity. Agri-marketing students and professionals have a great opportunity. They have a very good understanding of the system, of all the subject. The domain expertise exists. It's just a question of figuring out step by step how to develop an entrepreneurship model around this. For us particularly, we have found ex-defense officers, JCOs and NCOs who are looking for a viable second career. This to be very attractive. As I speak, dozens of officers and JCOs are in discussion with me to start this model around their own hometowns. And of course, last but not the least, are professionals in large cities looking for a change. I come from a technology background. I've worked 17 years in technology sector and some of the best companies. There are many, many people who are now looking to change their lifestyle, not just change a career, but change the complete direction of life. It is just that they do not yet know where they can go, what they can do. We are trying to educate people. Now, they start from city outward to the farm, unlike a farmer who can come from farm inward into city. A typical city professional will have a very good network. When two, three of them combine their, combine themselves into a team, they have a network, they can actually create a pool of customers, big apartment blocks, corporates, etc., and then go to farmers and start working with them and create a model for direct to home, and the entrepreneurship can start. So this is the last slide. In summary, rising awareness and health consciousness among urban consumers has opened a lot of opportunities for family farmer type of model. This model integrates traditional farming knowledge with latest technologies and operational processes. This model particularly as yet is suited for small entrepreneurs. At no point of time I would venture or stick my neck out to say that it can solve all problems of farmers. No, it cannot. But there are two particular problems: consumers needing fresh and organic food and farmers needing viable income, particularly those who are living close to big cities. This model can be replicated. It can be taken up by thousands of entrepreneurs, which is what our aspiration is over the years. And with that, tens of thousands of farmers can benefit. It is profitable organic farming for small and marginal farmers through food forest model. Livelihood is assured through every acre of organic farming. And last but not the least, it supports environment at every step. Organic improves soil fertility every year. Water conservation is ingrained into this particular model. With this, I complete my part of the presentation, and I will be very happy to take any questions that you may have.
Thank you. Thank you, Major VP Sharma. Now we'll take questions. So participants, you can ask your questions now, or you can also write it down in the chat box as well. We'll take it up with the speaker.
VP, this is Ram. Am I audible?
Ram?
You're not audible.
Hello?
Can you come again with the question?
Yeah, this is Ram, and I would congratulate VP for a very nice presentation.
Thank
I have an observation about this is Ram from Mission Samriddhi. I work very closely with VP. Just wanted to make an observation. I want him to also share the point about how farmers' income is actually getting enhanced. What is the exact viable business algorithm here that is ensuring that farmers are getting better income than if they were to sell directly to the mandis?
Right. So, Ram, this is something that's a constant effort. Our aim is per acre, a farmer should be able to earn at least 1 to 1.5 lakh rupees per year. Now, there is a caveat attached to it. When you turn your land into organic, there is a period when the land remains fallow and unirrigated. So this period could be anything between 4 to 9 months or 10 months. So what we do is we take only a small part of their land and then convert it into organic. Let them see for themselves. And like I mentioned, this income of 1 to 1.5 lakh is possible usually from second year, and it can only grow better with the choice of crops, with the better marketing, etc., etc. There are many variables you can do, value additions, etc., but that comes later. But at the baseline from second year, the aspiration is 1 to 1.5 lakhs per acre per farm.
Okay. VP sir, there are a couple of questions in the chat box as well. One question says that if you can brief the model again, and including the farm forest, if you can brief that again once.
The food forest, you mean? Is the question about the food forest?
Farm forest.
Okay. Let me go back. Is this the model that I need to explain again?
Just briefly, if you can.
Okay. I'm not sure what the question is. We have taken an ecosystem approach where we are starting from mobilizing the soldiers, training them, getting them to work on their farms as per the cropping calendar that we give them with all the inputs and materials and monitoring. Once the vegetables, greens, and fruits are produced, we collect it, sort it, grade it. The grade one is sold through our direct to home delivery model, which is driven by website and app to our customers in Chennai and Pondicherry. Whatever is left over goes through either a solar dryer or through the gratitude kitchen so that the wastage is minimized and the value is enhanced. This, in brief, is the overall model through 4 stages, and there's a lot of operations and technology which is underpinning it. Is this an adequate explanation? I picked up that there are also questions around what is food forest. So,
Okay. I think there is another question about the scale of operations and how many acres you are serving so far. Hello, VP Sharma ji.
yeah, yes. I see. Just 1 second. Let me open the chat window.
Yeah, can I ask a question?
Yes, please, sir.
Yeah, my question is this is Sangram Mudali. I'm known to VP very well from
How
Odisha.
are you?
It's a wonderful talk I heard too. I started with a small farm of 5 acres. My question is this: I have 5 acres, but all the people around me have only probably 1/4 of an acre or half an acre, and there are basically landless marginal farmers. What would you
Yes.
suggest to them to grow? You have said that you will be growing, different types of vegetables. Knowing Odisha's agricultural climate, what are the vegetables that can grow throughout the year? Because the only thing that I saw them growing was paddy in the rainy season and November, December, and moong dal or some dal in the other season. Apart from these two, they grow nothing. All the fields are fallow.
Right. Sir, for every state, there is a very elaborate, you can say, schedule of what can be grown, what vegetables, fruits, greens, herbs, all the, you can say, cereals, etc., and at different times of the year. I will just share with you what we have been able to figure out for Tamil Nadu, and I'm pretty certain something similar can be worked out there. We focus only on vegetables, fruits, and greens. I'll just show you that, and then maybe it can help people understand why I say a high yield organic farming is possible. What you are seeing on the screen is a schema of our food forest model. Now, what I'm seeing on the screen is a very small piece of land, 36 feet by 36 feet. This is 3% of an acre. Now, this is a schema. We try to implement it on ground as accurately as we can. There can be variances, but that doesn't matter much. You are seeing the yellow dots. They are all 9 feet apart. We grow trees here. Lemon, sweet lime, papaya, banana, moringa, these kind of trees. Then you are seeing along the verticals blue lines which are B. This is where we are growing vegetables like bhindi, brinjal, chili, and on one corner we have trellis-based plants like bitter gourd, bridge gourd, bottle gourd, and all that. The reds that you are seeing lateral are where we grow tubers, our turmeric, yam, etc. And whatever space is left in between, we grow greens. Now, we have found particularly once you nurture the soil with the Jivamritam, the Panchakavya, the Dashamritam, and all the organic nutrients, a stage comes when the soil is rich with a lot of microbial activity. Let me stop at this point and explain what I've understood of organic farming told to me by one of my mentors. It can be described in 2 sentences. One, take care of microbial activity below the soil, take care of the pest above the soil. Everything else nature will take care. So this is what, there's a lot of science gone behind this. Now you can grow a lot of greens here. Greens have the advantage of having high velocity. Their turnover, they will get ready in 60, 30 days. You keep harvesting it, keep planting it. By the time the greens finish, the bhindi, okra, and loki, they start coming up. By the time they finish, your banana, papaya, that has started coming up. By the time you already put the second cycle of the greens. Now, all this, when you multiply 24 such units in an acre, which is how we do it, you can see it on the screen, how many plants we plant in 1 acre. And why I say that upward of 15 tons of vegetables, greens is possible every year. 120 lemon guava, sweet lemon, papaya 192, moringa 144, banana 144, your brinjal, okra, tomato, chili, and such plants 1152. Marigold is a very good pest control plant, so we plant it at every corner. Vines and creeper plants 432, turmeric 960, radish and root plants 960, and 14,400 greens. This is what you can grow ideally in 1 acre. Now, you may have variants. It need not be exactly in this action. So to answer your question, sir, even if people have half acre, 1 acre, so long as they have made an efficient water management system and have nurtured the soil to be ready for organic, these are the kind of combinations that you can do. One of the big advantages of multi-cropping system, particularly when you integrate with Dashamritam and organic pest repellents, is that no one pest attack will destroy your entire crop. If something does get impacted, the others will make up for it. You always have a resilience. I hope this gives an idea of how we are doing it. And by the way, the seasonality, what we grow, We have taken it from a Tamil Nadu Agriculture University calendar. They publish it.
Okay.
I'm sure ISA Agriculture University also publishes it. Some experts in agriculture will be able to on that.
Thank you, sir. Thank you very much.
Sir, can I ask one question?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, my name is Achyuta.
Yes.
Oh, can you hear me?
Yeah, now I can hear you. Yes.
Yeah. Actually, how about the farm, the soldiers, whatever they produce, are you able to meet the supply demand, or all the all the consumers, like 30-40 varieties, you're able to meet that demand? How is your planning on that? What is any learnings you can throw on that?
Yes, it's a good question. Always we have learned, and in fact, this is one of the biggest problems of our farmers. They don't usually have an idea of the demand. I would like to believe that when my model matures, it is a demand-driven agriculture. We generally get a good idea about what we have to have. We use active social media campaigns, talk to our customers, look at the trends of what is selling, what is not selling, etc., and then accordingly tweak the production according to that. That's the best way to minimize wastages on farm. One of the biggest problems that I have seen with many farmers is that they grow the crops based on hearsay, and then once it grows too much and there is an abundant supply and demand is less, they don't get good value. To sustain the value of your crops, you have to be very mindful of the demand that is there. It's always a tricky thing, but when we work closely with the direct end users, there is a way that over a period of time you will develop that demand, understanding of what the demand is.
Major Sharma,
Yes, sir.
I'm Ashok here from. Yeah. Hello.
Yes, sir. Please go ahead with the question.
Sir, now I can hear you, sir.
Hello. Yeah. VP Sarmaji, Nitin this side. There were a couple of questions in the chat box. If you can brief about your current scale of operations, how much produce is there, how much acres, where are you operating right now, and if you have plans to operate out of other regions as well, how you can help other people copy the same model, if you are providing trainings or hand-holding support, if you can brief them about.
Yes. Helping people to adopt this model, most welcome. We have a training facility outside Pondicherry. It's a residential training facility. We were planning to start formal trainings for ex-soldiers this from May onwards, but because of lockdown, it has obviously got delayed. But the moment it is over, please do stay connected with me. I'll keep anyone who's interested informed, and do join us for trainings. And trainings will not just be for the organic farming, which is for soldiers, but also for people who are willing to take up this as an entrepreneurship model. Second, right now we are only around Chennai and Pondicherry. We are a startup, we are small, and once it only makes stretch ourselves too thin. We are right now busy in perfecting our model for every aspect. Hopefully within 6 months we'll be ready to go to Bangalore, and it'll take us about a year to stabilize the Bangalore operations and start earning good revenues and become profitable in that market. And once that happens, we do have plans. Those who are already doing something similar or want to get into something similar, most welcome. Please get connected with me. I'll be able to help you in whatever manner that I can.
Hi, VP. This is Atul Bhattnagar here.
Hello, sir.
Yeah, hi. Very interesting presentation. I had a question that, especially for Chennai, I wouldn't be too wrong in saying that most houses require gende ka phool and malipu every day, every time that they are. I mean, it's a known demand. So, does your model also cater to to flowers, especially the very commonly used flowers? I'm not talking about the esoteric flowers.
Flowers is something that has been on my mind, but from a different perspective. When it comes to flowers, people don't differentiate between organic and non-organic. It's available too cheap, really. So I don't think I'll be able to make a viable business out of that. That is what I meant to say, that we are very carefully selecting what will be the customer's preference. I'll give you another. When we started with our vegetables in a climate like Pondicherry, we cannot grow potato and onion. So we had to tie up with the farmers near Coimbatore and organic farmers, and we started getting that. Now, over a period of time, I've realized that people psychologically greens. So there are two types of segments. Will buy only organic greens from us, leafy vegetables from us, associate organic with that. And then there are others who come to us and tell us that, look, these greens and other vegetables, why don't you get me potato, onion, everything which is organic? I have to tell them that, sir, it will be very costly, much costlier than your regular potato available from Coimbatore market. But they're willing to pay for that. What I'm trying to say that there is a customer preference angle that needs to be seen, and we will only buy or produce things which we are 100% sure get sold at a good value.
VP sir, this is Colonel Sinha here from Forces Network. Can you hear me, sir?
Yes, Colonel Sinha,
Sir, my question is, as I understand, sir, that then this becomes basically demand driven. Demand becomes most important. So, is that the
yes.
first thing that one should do in the nearby market, in the hotel, restaurant, and all that, before deciding? I mean, that also become a major factor in deciding what to grow, sir. I finished, sir.
Yes, it is. Yeah, it is, Colonel Sinha. Let's first. I will answer it in two points. The demand for organic vegetables and fruits and greens is huge. Unlike earlier, you will find a lot of people who are willing to organic vegetables, provided they are more affordable than what is available in many of the shops, and they trust the organic. That is okay. It is truly organic. If that is something that can come, they are willing to buy. So the demand exists. There's no doubt about it. But it is nobody's case to blindly start producing without finding the ready market for you. So that work has to be done by you beforehand, and it's not difficult at all. There are multiple ways for you to get your first. You can say 100 customers who will buy from you, and start on 5 acres to help only those 100 customers, and then gradually through word of mouth and through other media.
Sir, two follow-up questions on this, sir. Colonel Sinha again. Sir, two follow-up questions again, sir. One is normally when we talk of organic products nowadays, they have certain other packaged organic products have certifications which gives some credibility to the customer. So, do we have something of that? That is my question number one. And my question number two is, what is, as of now, in your experience, the escalation in price from the normal product? Is it 2 times? Is it 3 times? And what is the acceptable level of the customer? I mean, this only comes from the experience. Otherwise, we will not know that, sir.
Okay. First, the
I
question.
finished, sir.
It's a
I
valid,
finished, sir.
it's a very valid question. In India, much of the organic farming is a trust-based business. Certification is a long process. It is so. I'm not going to get certification probably for next 2 years, but that doesn't mean that I can't undertake organic and natural farming. There is an element of trust, a very heavy element of trust, and that's why I talked about the concepts of traceability, etc., to convince the customers. And then there are people who can just by tasting the vegetables figure out whether it is organic or not. So all these things play up. Certification is required usually for when you go in for, say, a tie-up with a hotel chain, where there are rules and guidelines that unless they are certified, they will not take. Or when you want to, definitely certification is a requirement, but that is not a showstopper in this country provided you can convince the customers about the sincerity and the of your products, right? That is one. Coming to the price, we have done the survey of price. Well, I'll share with you my own experience. To home did not come in a day. When we started producing good quality organic vegetables, I did visit a lot of these big aggregators. So the first thing I was, most of the vegetable aggregators, the vegetable shops that you see in these big cities, they do not differentiate between organic and non-organic. Even if you have a certification, many of them will not think organic certification can be manipulated. That was their point. Second, the value that they gave to us, and I'm an educated man, I thought I'll be able to reason out and for the quality of the produce that I'm producing. It was nowhere close to allowing profitability in organic farming. That's when we stumbled upon this idea and said, we will not go to the aggregators, we will go directly to the end consumers. Believe me, it is a much more difficult task. The last mile delivery is a very big challenge under the best of circumstances. Leave alone these lockdown driven times when at every check post police stops us. We do have permissions, essential services. We do manage to deliver everything that we promise to customers. But delivery is always a challenge. But the benefit is that customers are willing to pay us a higher price. There is no way to tell you what is that 2x or 3x. What we do is we look at our production cost. And then we have broken down into normalized costs. What is the cost of transport associated with every kg of my vegetable? What is the cost of processing, packing, marketing, sales, website, technology, every kilo? And then I work out a margin and sell it. And it's a trial. If customers like it, it flies. We have to be conscious not to charge too much to the customer, at the same time maintain a healthy margin with which I can share the profit with my farmer also. So it's a constant balancing act.
Sir, I have a question.
Major Sharma, can I ask you a question?
Sir,
Yes, sir.
shall I continue with my question? Are you able to hear me?
Yes, I can.
Yes, sir. Sir, I had a question.
I can't hear you.
Please go ahead with the question.
Sir, the question is that in the you very well told about a module that concept of you took from your army experience, a battalion concept. That how many what's the length of the border, and accordingly the battalions are placed. So in this model, sir, how do you actually back calculate the number of farmers with the number of consumers, and how the overall human resource engagement at the various stages of processing and production? What is the calculations behind that?
Well, very difficult to give a standard answer for this kind of thing. I would say because this is a journey. You cannot make a model on the paper and start when there. Surely some baseline model will have to be there. But my recommendation to anyone who starts this is start out with what is comfortable for you. And then gradually go to the limits. You will yourself see that beyond the point, what the benefits of scaling, adding instead of 5 trucks, you add 10 trucks. Instead of 20 acres, you add 20 more acres, but they are all dispersed. You will yourself see that the benefits of scaling also bring in their own costs and constraints. Where the cost and constraints start troubling you more than the benefits, that's the time to stop and maybe create another unit of that. So that is how we have gone about. It is more intuitive. Maybe in a year's time, I'll be able to put some mathematical models and some scientifically analyzed models. As of now, I have gone by intuition and gut feel. Where it becomes a bit of a problem for me, I decide what to do. What is important is to retain efficiency of operation. Because the moment you become inefficient, it will start impacting your bottom line immediately. You can't increase the prices beyond a point. You can't reduce the cost beyond a point. So all the play of profitability is in getting more efficient. Now, efficiency comes with scalability, but at some point, there will be the costs of inefficiency. So that's the balancing act you will have to do yourself.
Okay, sir. Thank you.
Hello. Sir, can I ask a question?
Go ahead. Ask.
Hello. Sir, since you are starting new and certification is a distant possibility, and to be honest to the customers, why don't you use the word natural instead of organic?
What do you say?
Hello.
Yes.
I got it, man. Hello.
Yes. Yes. Please go ahead.
Prakashji, his question was that since you don't have a certification, so you can use the word naturals instead of organics.
Of formal
Hello.
terminology, we use organic.
Hello.
You can say confidently because we are using organic nutrient, organic practices, and every the organic farming practices will indicate we are using that. That's why we are doing it. Technically, I mean, and I say for the first thing itself that we do not have the certification. It doesn't mean that we are not practicing organic farming. Organic farming is organic farming, and these are matters of words and terminologies which I would not pay much attention to.
Sir, can you hear me, sir?
Yes, please.
Sir, I'm Colonel Nair, sir. I was going to this wonderful presentation. I got a few questions, sir. One is regarding about the soil health, sir, health of the soil. What happens to the soil with multiple crops coming up in a year, sir?
Yes. So, what about soil health?
For soil health, sir, because multiple crops will be taken in a year. So,
Yes.
what about the soil coming back? Earlier on, we used to use all kind of manure and all. So, what is the usage in this, sir?
So first, before you go in for the first crop of our, there is a very elaborate process to increase the microbial activity below the soil and get the soil carbon levels to the desired level. So that activity, there is a lot of you can say green manure, your cow dung manure, vermicomposting, and then our own these jiva panchakavya, all these treatment. There's a very scientific process that needs to be done. Now, once you start, you can say your plantation, and once your plant completes in the life and you replant it, there is a continuous process. There is a process of enriching the soil between the two croppings, and there is a process of enriching the soil on a daily basis. Even there are different types of organic nutrients and pest repellents you will give. When your plants are small, there is a particular type and a dosage of organic nutrients that are given. When your plants are nearing flowering, there is something different to be given. When your plants are fruiting, there is something else to be given. All that, it's all there. So the soil remains enriched in organic system because you are continuously giving it. It's not just a one fertilizer at the beginning and once in 2 weeks or something. No, we do it on a daily basis. There are different nutrients that are given. And the interesting thing is the soil gets more fertile from 1 year to the next because the soil carbon and the microbial content keeps on continually increasing.
Thank you, sir. And one more question which I had is any support given by the government in such kind of endeavors wherein which we are going in for the natural
Yes, there
way?
is a lot. Yeah, there's a lot of support. We are in various stages of application. Where government supported, there is what is the scheme called? Paramparik Krishi Vikasa Yojana. That's a national level to promote organic farming. But that said, local and state government, local government supports that we have. There are a lot of subsidies which are there. Water management for irrigation, name a thing. Where the government policies for agriculture, promoting for small farmers. We are in the process of setting up an FPO of ex-soldiers, a farmer producer organization. Government has come out with very detailed policies and financial producer organizations. So we are going to be leveraging that in a big way. We have started working with. It will take us about 6 months to get it, but there is a lot of support.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir.
Hello.
Yes, sir.
Hello. I'm from
Yes.
Haryana. Sir. I'm from Haryana.
Good. Your question, please. Any more questions, participants? With Prakash, there is another question which has come. Is about.
I can't hear you, Nitin.
Hello.
Yeah.
Sir, one question is there. Hello.
Yes, please.
Is your model is equal to the
Is the? I couldn't hear you.
Okay, I think there is some issue with the network. The question which came from one of the participants is about the price premium farmers are getting through this model.
Price premium?
Farmers are getting through this model. The premium which farmers are getting.
Easily. What vegetables, if they would have sold in the market, we purchase it easily 50% higher than that. And more importantly, we get the money there and then.
Okay.
The same day. A farmer needs both as well as timely payment.
Fair. That answers. Any more questions, participants?
One question, would you suggest polyhouse to be used for this kind of farming?
Well, polyhouse is a very different, very unique model. It has some points. Some of the most successful businesses, highly profitable ones, are running. So, I mean, polyhouse has no connection. You can make polyhouse as part of this also. Actually, don't stop that it has to be only organic. Just to give you an example, alongside with traditional organic farming on soil, we have experimented a lot with aquaponics. And I'm still learning quite a lot in aquaponics, which is also another form of growing organic vegetables with 90% less water consumption in a very high yield variety. It's very, very futuristic, but we are trying it. Similar way, if you want to do polyhouse, with organic nutrients, you can do it. There are two reasons. When you do polyhouse, there is a lot of investment. So be sure that what you produce has already got a market. So first figure out the market and the demand, and then decide what you want to invest in.
Yeah, thank you. I think that's important.
Okay, any more question?
Sir, I just wanted to know where can we find information regarding the various crop varieties which should be grown over an annual cycle?
Every state has its agriculture university, and the agriculture university brings out a very elaborate detail of what can be grown, what is the complementarity of the plants, etc. Everything. Contact the local agriculture university and you will get everything. Usually it is there on the website itself. You don't even have to ring up anyone. Just go to their website and you'll find it.
Thank you for that information, sir. Just one more thing. Now, when you are working at a basic yardstick, I don't know if the yardstick is available or not. Do you have any number of people whom you require to work on a per acre or per cluster? Do we have any ratios like that?
Well, on an average, I mean, I look at it more from a livelihood point of view. I have one agriculture trainee who stays on the farm, and 3 local women, rural women, whom we give livelihood as local labor. And for every 4 acres, I have 1 soldier as a farmer. That's my dimensioning guideline for organization. It may vary a little bit here and there. If I've got a unit to make only vermicompost and other organic nutrients, I may put one dedicated person, but that person can cater to 10 acres, something like that. So, but broadly, this is.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Can I ask a question?
Yes.
Hello.
Please go ahead with the question.
Hello. So my
Yeah, go ahead.
lot of noise. And thank you for the presentation. This is Nityanand from Pradhan. My question is, you have suggested the production center should be within 100 kilometers. What is the rationale? Is it because kind of vegetable you are priority now and vegetable transportation is an issue? Else, I was
Yes.
thinking out, can you go for some kind of a non-perishable, low perishable kind of crops, which can be done by the people who are actually remotely placed? So,
Yes,
any
very
thought
much it
about
can be done. Actually, that's a very good thing to do. If you go for cereals, etc.
With Prakash, your voice is breaking. Can you come again with the answer?
Yes, I said that growing non-perishables, if you are far off, is a very good idea. You can also set up value addition, like if you grow groundnut, you can set up units for groundnut is very well, right? Similarly, your rice, millet, these things, organic, everything has a market. It can be done. For us, since we and there is a perishable associated in the homes of 100 kilometers.
Thank you, sir.
Any more questions from the participants?
Yes, please. I have one question. Major
Yes, please go ahead.
This is Ashok here from Pune.
Sir. Good evening.
Okay. There's one you could try to elaborate upon how you make the payment to the farmers. See, you had mentioned initially that you don't like to act as an aggregator, but rather as a facilitator to help market the produce of these farmers, right?
Yes, sir.
When that is the case, when you collect the produce and take it to the market like Chennai or later on maybe Bangalore, you may have to make the payment back to the farmer after a certain period, right? So how long would it take for the farmer to get his, I'm talking purely from a farmer's point of view, not from a consumer's point of view. So how long does it take for a farmer to get his money for the produce that he has given to you for marketing? Yes, please.
I have both on the spot also. If it is a farmer with whom I've initially done, but the ones with whom I've been working for long, been put up. So whatever we purchase, we have a very detailed record, and I've already kind of negotiated the price, which is acceptable to them, and we paid weekly.
Oh.
VP sir, one question on the investment part. So, what would be a rough guideline one should plan for investment per acre for initial, let's say 3 to 5 years? Colonel Sinha, yes.
Yeah. I mean, to prepare the soil depends on whether the soil being used for non-organic, what is the level of. There are the costs. Broadly break it up. The will be to have enough repairing system. You need to put up a rainwater harvesting system. You need to have some place to stay for people to work on a 2-acre farm. If these things are there, which usually is the case with existing farmers, but if you are setting it up, you may want to look at those capital costs, right? And there is not much in terms of instruments, etc. Also, invest a little money, maybe less than 50. Rest of the cost is operational cost. What do you do? Prepare the earth, that is anything up to, you can say, 50,000 rupees to 60,000 rupees per acre. Your major costs are only towards the labor and the supervision, etc. The people cost element is pretty high. When you get to things like certification, setting up a website for selling, bringing in technology, getting the supply chain, those things are separate costs. So the farm production costs as a part of the overall business, I would say, will never be more than 25-30%. 70% will be on the supply chain, technology, sales, marketing, etc.
And what about per acre? What would be the requirement to initially to create to into an organic setup? How many cows do you say it would be essentially required?
So ideally, yes, integrated, but you can do without it also. You can tie up with a good, you can say, I would recommend go find a farm with country cows, your regular Jersey cows. Out of country cows, the urine of country cows is at least twice as potent and is soil. Find those people. Usually you will find it within a 50-kilometer radius. So you should be able to get that. You don't have to invest in it. If you have the capacity, by all means do it. But you can start without that and then later on add cows to your entire system.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah, we'll take a last question. Any more questions?
Hello, I have one more question.
Yes, sir.
Major Sharma, you were mentioning about the training of farmers. So could you
Yes, sir.
elaborate how many days this training would take place and what is the training cost in case people are interested to come over and get trained?
Yes, sir. So we have a training facility. The current curriculum that I have, it is 80% practical, 20% theory. It is
Hello.
not. It is not yet accredited with anyone. You are aware, sir. We are trying to, at suitable time, we'll come to you for that. But the training itself is pretty robust. I've trained about 20 soldiers with that. It takes 15 days, and it is residential. The cost typically is 1,000 rupees per day inclusive, which is including residence, food, and training. So it's about 15,000 rupees per soldier.
Thank you.
One last question before we sum it up. Last question from the participant.
Hello. Hello.
Yes.
Hello. Hello.
Yeah, go ahead with the question. Please speak. Okay, I think it dropped. We'll sum it up. A lot of important discussions took place related to organic farming, agripreneurship, and particularly family farmer concept. I, on the behalf of Director General and Director CCS NIAM and entire NIAM team, would like to thank all the wonderful participants who joined us and our speaker, retired Major Ved Prakash ji. Thanks a lot. Thank you all for sparing your time and joining us. A very good evening. Have a great day ahead. Thank you.
Thank you very much to everyone for sparing your time, and particularly I'm grateful for giving me the opportunity to be a speaker in this webinar. Thank you so much. Jai Hind.
Thank you. Thank you, sir.